Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dungeon Dive. Daniel here. So this is going to be the second episode of the What I Talk About When I Talk About Dungeon Diving series. So this video started off as a review for the Order of Vampire Hunters from Dark Gate Games. So this is a game that I enjoy, and I know not a lot of people do. It doesn't have a lot of hype online, not a big following. The game seems to have kind of died out, and it makes sense a little bit because this was a Kickstarter game, and a lot of Kickstarter games, they seem to, the publisher slash developers, designers, they seem to put all of the money into the campaign, and then once the campaign is done, they seem to run out of funds to continue to keep the game in the public eye, to develop it further for expansions. And so a lot of Kickstarter games don't have a long tail like a traditional retail game would. That's not the case for everything, but it seems to be kind of a trend amongst these kinds of games. But a lot of people don't like this game because of just one or two basic rules. And so while I was doing my review, I was noticing that I was talking about my house rules for the game quite a bit more than I was actually talking about the game with rules as written. And so I decided to do a little video just talking about house ruling and whether you guys like that or not, or how you feel about it. So personally, I love house ruling. As I've discussed before, a lot of the reasons why I like these kinds of games, these dungeon crawls and fantasy adventure games, is that they scratch that same itch for me as a role-playing game would, or at least they scratch a similar itch. Except I could set these up and I can play by myself, or I can play with friends without the need for a lot of work beforehand to set up the campaign or the mission or the world. You know, you can play without a dungeon master. So, and these games, they, like role-playing games, it's very easy to change some of the rules in these games to make them more to fit your group more, or to fit your personal playstyle more. Because since so many of these games are co-op in nature, it makes sense to where you as a group can say, hey, we don't like this, so let's do this. Maybe we'll have more fun playing. And ultimately, that's why I'm playing games, is to have fun. So if I can take a game like Order Vampire Hunters, which has some things that I like and some things I don't like, and just tweak a few of the things to make me have more fun playing it, then that's what I'm going to do. So specifically, thinking about the Order of Vampire Hunters, what I like about it is I like the characters. I think the characters are interesting. I like the world. I like the weapons. And I like some of the combat mechanisms, the searching, how you have to spend points to cobble together pieces of gear to make other gear. So there are a lot of things that I like about this game, but there are a few things that I don't. Now, one of them is the timer mechanism. I know a lot of people don't like the timer mechanism. So I developed a system where I think it works pretty well. It's only for a campaign, so not for one-off games. But for those of you who aren't aware, there's a timer. In this game, you start at a certain time, and then you have to complete your mission in a certain number of hours. Thematically speaking, it's when just like all the vampires wake up, they're super powerful, they're all coming to get you, and if you don't clear out the den in time, then you guys are just going to get completely overrun, and the darkness will win, the night will win, okay? So what I do is I have a rule where if you win the game, if you win the scenario by the allotted time, at the time limit, then the next game you get to start 1 hour earlier. So you get a bonus hour to your time limit and before the vampires awaken. As kind of a bonus thing, like, yeah, your heroes, the hunters, they did a super bang up job. They cleared out the house, they got back to their headquarters in time, and they were able to more fully relax and recuperate and prepare for the next mission. So also in my system, when the time ends, it's not game over. You don't lose. You keep playing, But as the time ends, you keep spawning additional vampires every turn, coming into the exit or into the entrances that the hunters used to invade the den. So the vampires, thematically, they're coming in, they're surrounding you, and they keep moving in, putting on pressure for you to finish the mission. Now, because you've taken extra time on the next mission, you don't have the luxury of time to recuperate, to repair your damaged gear. And so one random hero, one random hunter will start the next mission with damaged armor. And then if you take 3 more turns or 3 more hours after the timer has ended, all of the hunters start the next mission with damaged armor, just to kind of show that they didn't have enough time to prepare for the next mission. And then there are a couple other things I do. For one, is like you're not allowed to carry over experience or focus points from mission to mission in the campaign. I let the players, or I let myself, carry over experience, so that way you can build up your hero and just have more fun playing the game. So there's a couple other rules that I use, but those are the main ones that I use to make this game how I want to play it. And it is my game. I'm not hurting anybody by doing this. It's not like some kind of online or competitive game. And if I ever play this with other people, I'll suggest those rules to them and say, hey, I think this makes the game more fun. Do you guys want to play like this, or do you want to play rules as written? And then there are really a ton of games so like Folklore of the Affliction, I have quite an extensive list of house rules I use with that. I'll talk about those at another time. Even games like Shadows of Brimstone or Warhammer Quest. Mostly Shadows of Brimstone, we play where you can take your movement or action in any order. You don't have to move, then attack. You can attack and then move and stuff like that. There's a few other things we do in Shadows of Brimstone. But yeah, there's a lot of games that I use house rules for. And I have notebooks where I just keep lists of things like to try. Like, oh, maybe this will make the game more fun, or maybe that will make the game more fun. And I know some people then are 100% against house ruling. And that does make sense, because there are so many games to play that it really shouldn't be up to the player, or maybe, yeah, one, it shouldn't be up to the player to make the game fun, right? It should be the designers, the developers, the publishers. They should be making the games as fun as possible. So maybe you don't want to spend the time to fix a broken game, because you could spend that time playing a game that's not broken out of the box. Not that these games are broken per se, but you know what I mean. But when you like a game and there's just 1 or 2 things that you don't like about it, why not just fix those couple of things and then have fun with the game? And in a lot of ways, that is how we have always played RPGs. I cannot think of an RPG that I've ever played where we have played 100% rules as written. There's always little tweaks, always little things to adjust, fudging on dice rolls if you're a DM to make the game more fun for the players. Allowing the players to do things that maybe aren't in the rules, or allow them to act a little more heroic. And all of these things, they just, like the motto of this episode is that all of these things just work together to make the game more fun. If you guys watch my Talisman video, you see that the way I play Talisman is very, very different, using a hand of cards for movement and combat. To me, that makes the game more fun. City of Chaos, I play with a ton of house rules. What else? I can't think of... I know there are a lot of other games. And of course, let's see. Mice and Mystics is one that I think benefits from a few house rules, mostly just to keep the game going, keep the game moving a little bit. Kingdom Death Monster. I mean, right now we're playing with one of the official variant house rules, the the hero version, and we're having a total blast. That's making the game like way more fun for us because we're able to develop our heroes, our survivors, a little more and have them have more of a personality and more of a story that goes along with their lives in this hellish environment. So yeah, so what games do you guys house rule? Do you have any that you particularly like a game that you will never play without a certain house rule? Or do you always play games with rules as written, and if there's something you don't like, that game goes out because you don't have enough time to spend, or you don't have the desire, and you actually shouldn't have to have the desire to fix a broken game. So I think that's about it. I do mention, I think, when I do talk about the games and my reviews and stuff, I will always mention house rules that I use or certain rules that I don't like and tweak just a little bit so that the game is more fun for me. Maybe just like I'm playing right now, I am learning core space, which this game is just like mind blowing and and awesome. I cannot wait to dive into the campaign. I'm still learning the game. I have it all set up over here. I can't wait to show you guys. I'm sure you guys have already seen. There's quite a few videos online for core space, but there are a lot of things that you could do within that rule system. Rules that aren't mentioned in the rule book, but because the system is so, it's pretty elegant, and it's going to allow for a lot of house rules and advanced rules and just things that you can do thematically in the game with simple dice rolls or simple skills that will really explode the game into something that is quite outstanding, I think. So, all right, guys, well, let me know what you think about house ruling, and we will talk to you later. Bye-bye.